My name is Henry Lee. I'm the Chief of Operations of ADC Energy. I want to send a big thank you to Brian Patterson and also to Beth Murphy at the Emerge Alliance for setting up this fantastic net zero pavilion. Let's give them a hand. Woo! Okay, so my background is law. I was introduced to ADC Energy by a friend of mine. And he came up to me and told me, you need to talk to these guys. They've come up with this fantastic new technology. And I get presented with business projects all the time. And what he told me was this. These guys have created a new way of transmitting energy. And my response was, no way. But I made the effort and drove down to the ADC offices. I was sitting in the conference room and waiting for the inventor to come in. And in comes Hun Choi in a wheelchair. And I sit with him, and I'm talking, and I learn about his story. The guy who invented this technology lost his legs to polio at the age of 1. He's been recuperating from 2 heart attacks. When he invented this technology, he was recovering from cancer. So, after I met this guy, I said, I'm all in. I'm totally in on this project. And the reason for that is, this is not just a technology company, it is a technology company with a heart.
Yeah.
Now we'll get to the technology. What does net zero mean? Did you know that there is no accepted definition of net zero? In fact, the Department of Energy in, I think it's November of 2015, came up with the first universal definition of zero net buildings. And that is basically that at the facility, you're generating as much energy or more energy than you're consuming. That's kind of the point of the net zero pavilion, that we are generating more energy on site. But the concept is basically that of efficiency. Net zero basically means efficiency. And that's where ADC Energy comes in. ADC Energy is basically focused on efficiency. However, I dare say, ADC Energy will be the most fantastic technology you will see on this floor today and tomorrow. Why? I played AC/DC in the beginning because the world used to be AC or DC. Because of ADC Energy, the world is now AC and DC. That's why we're called ADC Energy. Mr. Choi has created a technology that allows AC and DC to be transmitted on the same wires. It is a third, brand new way of transmitting energy. Why is that important? With our technology, DC can be piggybacked on an existing AC flow, meaning DC can now be transmitted long distance without deterioration. Picture this. DC current being spread throughout a 100,000 square foot facility without deteriorating. That was Edison's problem. He could never send DC long distances. Imagine this entire facility, all of its lights being powered by 24 volt DC. We have the ability to do that without changing any of the wires. Also picture a system where DC and AC are flowing in the same system so that you could access AC and DC at the same time. Now, had these TVs been working, these AC based TVs, they would have been plugged into our unit. Our unit currently is flowing DC and AC at the same time. So you'll see that it is powering a DC floodlight, and had they plugged in the TVs into our unit, you would also have AC TVs operating off our same unit, meaning you are accessing AC and DC on the same wires. Why is that so important? Because solar energy, wind energy, how do they generate energy? They generate in DC. If you look at the net zero setup, all of the solar and wind that's being generated off-site and being trucked into here is all in DC. And then it becomes inverted and then spread out. With our system, the inverter, the conversion is gone, eliminated. Now, sitting here in the net zero pavilion, would you all agree? Raise your hands. You'd all agree. Solar energy is good for the world. Yes, solar energy, solar city. Why would you raise your hand? We all agree solar energy is good for the world. We all agree. You know what? One quick story. You know solar energy is taking effect on the world when, like, last Saturday morning, I was watching an infomercial. I thought they were selling cars. You know what they were selling? They were selling solar panels. It was a half-hour infomercial on solar panels, which means solar panels are in fact being introduced to the general public, period. We also would agree, wind power is positive. It's a good thing for the world. In fact, we're all here at Greenbuild. The basic concept of Greenbuild is green, renewable, sustainable energy as well as construction. In order to have green energy, in order to have a true net zero system, in order to have solar and wind power operate in an efficient manner, in order to have an internet, which Brian has coined, you must have DC power. You have no choice. DC power is a critical piece of any renewable energy answer, any microgrid answer to the energy problem. However, not everybody agrees. This is a graph from a February 2016 study done by the U.S. Energy Information Administration. This is U.S. electricity generation in the year 2015. Last year, if you look, 13% is from renewables. Of that 13%, solar was only 5%. Why is that? That's 0.65 of the entire U.S. If we all agree solar is fantastic, why is it not more than 0.65% as of 2015? There's tons of reasons. I'm going to go over a few. Brian mentioned this as well, and everybody will also comment. We have a problem with our current electric grid. Our existing grid is falling apart. It's over capacity. We need more power, but our existing grid literally sucks. It can't handle more power. It's falling apart. You also have another problem, not the overall general grid, but you have existing wiring in buildings. You have in this facility tons and tons and miles of existing wire. If you change to a different type of system, you need to change the wires. That is a serious problem with a DC microgrid. I'll give you an example. China is creating a high voltage DC grid. Look at this thing. You see the guy down here? Look at how big this thing is. So China is trying to create a brand new grid. I read another article. This grid based on high voltage DC, you know how much it's going to cost? $1 trillion. $1 trillion to rewire a new grid. Great for China. What about the US? Where are we going to get $1 trillion? I know Donald Trump don't have it. Brian was mentioning community microgrids, a fantastic concept. We totally support a community microgrid. There are issues with community microgrids as well. There's a lot of logistics, there's a lot of installations, there's a lot of cooperation. Remember the picture with the houses? I will tell you one thing. I will not share my energy with my jerk neighbor. Whether or not he benefits or I benefit, I will not share my energy with him. So, what do you do with the existing wires? Even if you go community microgrid, you still have to do something about your existing wires. There's another reason that solar and wind have issues, is that there's the conversion issue. You all know that. You're looking at it. That's conversion. It's conversion, and in the conversion, there is waste. DC from the renewables has to be converted into AC, goes into your house, and then your laptop converts it, a 20% on average loss. So if you go from solar panels to convert to AC, there's about a 25% loss, and then from the energy grid back to storage, another loss. However, if you follow the ADC system, the solar panel that generates in DC feeds directly into the ADC system without being inverted. It feeds directly in. And then, let there be light. It feeds directly into our storage and then piggybacks out onto the existing wires. Our system provides a solution by removing the inversion issue. There's two key issues, well, multiple, but why DC use has not become more widespread. DC, as you know, this was Edison's inability to solve before he died. He could not transmit DC power over long distances. That's why we use AC to transmit from the generators to your house. DC cannot travel long distance. There is a solution. You could step up the voltage. You could send a 380 volt power through the wires, but you have to increase the wires, or the wires burn, fires, etc. You see a typical solar powered system generates in DC, charges the batteries, goes into the house. What's the biggest thing in that picture? Is the inverter. The inverter is the key to renewable energy right now, because it used to be AC or DC. Now that you have ADC, the inverter is removed from this picture and your DC use is now more efficient. These are some of the solutions that we come up with. We don't say get rid of the grid. We don't say get rid of your wires. We say use what works. We've had our grid for 135 some odd years, and I definitely am not going to rewire my house. But if we provide you with a solution on your existing wires, why not? We don't have to spend $1 trillion. Our grid is made in the USA. Use it. We also eliminate the AC-DC conversion. We do not convert from the renewable DC generated energy and convert it to AC and then convert it back. We've eliminated that conversion issue, which basically means you've gained 20% on the DC to AC conversion, you've gained about 20% on the AC to DC conversion. I never thought a battery could power a car, at least not power it so that it could be fast and I want to drive it. Until I got in a Tesla. And I almost peed in my pants. That car is fast, right? Prius I can understand, but Tesla on batteries, give me a break. So, we've taken that basic concept of powerful DC and translated that to an entire facility. ADC Energy has the technology and the ability to power up this entire facility off 24-volt battery power, which means we could power up an entire building based on batteries. You're in charge, charge the batteries. The third real key to our technology is that, like I said, it is a third new way of transmitting energy. We piggyback DC flow onto AC flow. And in doing that, your DC components and AC components can both access that flow at the same time. And you've eliminated the conversion waste. This is our ADC panel. It is installed in our current installation, which is a 63,000 square foot warehouse. I think it's 100,000 square feet, and I tell you why. This is what we call a plug and play system. The bigger the facility, we just slide in more modules to address the facility. To the right, you see the battery bank. This is the interior warehouse portion of this warehouse. DC LED lights being operated off the ADC system and powered by the batteries. By the way, this last picture is a little fuzzy. I took it while I was standing on a scissor lift, and I'm afraid of heights, so it's not because it was dark, it's because I was shaking, because it was really tall. Anyway, so you see a clearer picture of the lights inside of the warehouse. We also powered up the lights for their parking lot and the exterior of the building. That's why I'm saying it's 100,000 square feet as opposed to 63,000 square feet. We also did 2 floors of their office lights. And the most amazing thing when I first saw this, when I opened up this panel, this entire facility, warehouse, exterior, office buildings, operating off 12 car batteries. That's it. That's how powerful our system is. The fact that it operates on batteries, what that also means, your side benefit is, if the power ever shuts off, blackout, rolling blackout, if you have an ADC system, you will have backup storage. You will have a UPS, uninterrupted power supply, for about 2 days, depending on how big your facility is. That is a benefit of the system. So, I dare to say it again. This is the most fantastic technology you will see on the floor today. ADC Energy has created a third way of transmitting energy. The world used to be AC or DC. It is now ADC Energy.